Let the blessings come from the north, from the south, the east and the west. We have overcome by the words of our mouth. We have victory, yeah. Let the blessings come. We worship you and your holy name forever. Throughout our life we're gonna give you praise. Let the blessings come from the north, from the south, the east and the west. We have overcome by the words of our mouth. We have victory, yeah. Let the blessings come from the north, from the south, the east and the west. We have overcome by the words of our mouth. We have victory, yeah. Let the blessings come.
Okay, welcome back. This is DrCI again. Today we are having a special guest with us. It's Dr. Arjuna Sathiaseelan. He's the CEO, CTO, and co-founder of Girls Networks Incorporated. Let me introduce him. Over to Dr. Arjuna. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Celestine. How are you?
You're welcome to the show. Today is packed full of inspirational session with the CEO. We're having the Girls African community. We're having what is free Wi-Fi. We're going to know what this company is all about, business opportunities for many of you who are local investors. We're going to look at the training opportunities and the recent development of Girls Network. But before we start, let us ask Dr. Arjuna to tell us a bit about himself. Tell us about your background, sir. Over to Dr. Arjuna.
First of all, thank you so much, Celestine and team, for inviting me for this interview. You guys are doing a wonderful job. So I'm really honored to be here and talk to you all. So before we get into what my company does, and since you wanted to know about me, as you rightly pointed, I'm the CEO and Chief Technology, which is a Chief Executive Officer, the Chief Technology Officer, and the co-founder of Girls Networks, Inc. We are of New York University. We are based out of New York, but we are a distributed company. So I run the show from Cambridge, UK, and we have a team in India who basically does all the development work. And my other co-founder, Professor Lakshmi Subramanian, who is a professor at New York University, is based out of New York, obviously. So before joining or before forming Girls Networks Inc., I was at University of Cambridge, where I founded and led a lab called the Networking for Development Lab, which is the N4D lab, for over a period of 7 years. And the ambition of the lab was to basically explore innovative ways of providing universal internet access. As you know, that you might have heard, especially since you guys are from Africa, more than half of the world, more than 50% of the world's population still do not have internet access or broadband access. Right? There are several challenges. It's not just infrastructure. There are whole other challenges like socio-economic challenges, human capacity building, energy-related issues, language barriers, which kind of are the obstacles for enabling universal internet access, for getting the remaining 7 billion people onto the internet. We have to somehow get past all these challenges. So the lab was very much focused on looking at all these challenges together and seeing how technology can be used in innovative ways to overcome some of these challenges. So we looked into things like socio-economic utilization of people, like that, what we call as community, right? How do we get communities to come together to utilize Wi-Fi to connect with each other and access broadband, the internet? We looked at how future internet technologies can be actually utilized into these sort of architectures or infrastructures to make internet much more seamless and cost effective. Because Africa, for example, as a continent, the internet or broadband internet is very, very expensive. Right? Most of the Africans are on mobile phones. And even mobile broadband is very, very expensive. For example, a few years ago, these were the numbers. I'm not sure whether I don't have the recent numbers. In Africa, for example, 90% of the mobile phone users are on PSE-Go. If you compare this to a country like India, where majority of the people are on mobile broadband, 4G broadband, thanks to Reliance, Geo, and broadband is almost free then. Mobile internet is almost free, unlimited, right? So that is the disparity in terms of infrastructure, monetary power, in terms of accessing broadband, right? So we basically were pushing agendas, research agendas, where we worked with a lot of communities to create free Wi-Fi mesh networks, and then encompassing new ways of accessing the internet in a much more low-cost effective way. So we brought in a lot of technologies like caching, delay-tolerant networking. We did some of the early deployments of information-centric networking, which is kind of replacement for the IP. They've been working on it. The Internet Standards Body has been working on it for a long time. So we did some of the early deployments of ICN, which is information-centric networking. We did some of the early deployments of delay-tolerant networking. And through many of these projects, I also had the opportunity to found the Internet Research Task Force group called Gaia, which is the Global Access to the Internet for All, the Gaia Research Group. This was sometime around 2015, if I remember, or 2014, 2015, where I brought in larger players like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, the Alliance for Affordable Internet, the Digital Impact Alliance, and quite a lot of people. I mean, even people like Windsurf, the father of the internet, was there. He was, I think, the fifth or sixth member of our group. And we kind of created an alliance, a research alliance, where we brought in different companies, organizations, non-profit organizations, colleges, academics, institutes, communities together to kind of discuss the problems and how can we all work together to solve these problems in terms of connectivity. And through some of the projects that I've involved, I personally have connected more than 500,000 people to the internet, mostly across Africa and Southeast Asia.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much for this extensive explanation of what you do, because you have just given us an inspiration, what inspires your app creation, for DAOs and that, the people we are dealing with, our viewers, they want to know, the questions they are asking. They want to create another source of income for living. I always tell them that a man with only one job is an accident waiting to happen. So, and your job is to make these people do things. You have also told us about salary thing, from what I gather of what you have said, that your salary is a bribe that they give you to forget your dreams. So you decided to move on with your dreams. So we are talking about dreams now for most of you who have dreams. And then I want you to pick this inspiration from Dr. Arjuna in very less technical terms, because these are people who are much more eager to start doing, participating, interacting with what you're doing. In very less technical terms, tell us what your new bubble is all about. In Africa, they're supposed to say bubble boogie. Bubble, to go and bubble is to go and enjoy. So when you say somebody there's something about bubble, they say, are you going to bubble? Are you going to enjoy? Are you going for party? So just tell us with less technical terms what your new outline, or your creation is all about.
Right. So before I get to Bubbler, I just want to kind of talk to you about the genesis of Bubbler. So when I left Cambridge, I had a mission, right? One of the biggest problems facing Africa, for example, as a continent, is you can provide broadband infrastructure, right? So Safaricom, there's a Liquid Telecom is putting up a lot of fiber infrastructure. There's a whole lot of things. But accessing the mobile web is a major challenge, because most of the data centers that serve the African continent is outside Africa, right? Almost, I mean, we did a measurement study probably 4 or 5 years ago where we showed that almost 60 to 70% of the servers that actually serve the African continent in terms of mobile web is actually from Europe and US, right? So because of that, obviously it's a distance, right? Because of that, the accessing to the web is very costly, as well as very latency sensitive. So it's very delayed, right? So you can observe latencies or the delay of accessing a mobile web page to go about more than a second or more, right? That is one. And the second thing is, if you open up the internet, unfortunately, majority of the internet content is in English. More than 56 to 60% of the World Wide Web's content is in English. The second comes Spanish, which is about 26%, right? If you look at Hindi, which is spoken by 250 million plus people across India and globally, only has 0.1% representation in the World Wide Web, right? So now think about, what about the African languages, the traditional languages, right? So the representation is not there, right? So you can see, one is the infrastructural issues of placing the web pages, right? And the second is lack of content. So that kind of created a spark for what we are now doing now through Gaia's Networks, where we kind of said, how do we build a low-cost platform that can be used by communities in their own communities within a small server infrastructure, and serve those communities where anyone with a mobile phone should be able to create a mobile web page, any content, and also be able to monetize it. And that is how Gaius, which is GAIUS, the Gaius app was created. So the Gaius app, which we launched out across Africa in many countries, as well as Southeast Asia, is basically a mobile app platform that would allow communities to run their own mobile web ecosystems. Anyone with a mobile phone within the community will be able to create mobile web pages, create any type of content, and will be able to monetize it. Right? So you can kind of assume the Gaius platform is like a local social media platform that can run either in an island, inside a village, inside a city, inside a country, you name it. And you can basically do it. So we had deployments in Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe. We are planning to start in Tanzania. We had a deployment in Botswana and many countries across Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Right? But what we wanted to do, take this further, was to kind of look, I mean, if you look at companies like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, these are centralized services that basically do not have or do not give you any control of your engagement. So you create posts and you interact with your friends, and these companies monetize. You don't monetize, right? They have just built a platform, like an ad engine, and they are sleeping while you guys are working for it, and they are making the money.
So we the users, we are the ones who have the content, but all these people you have called now are the ones who make the money.
Exactly.
But yours is trying to make sure that we have the content and also create the money for ourselves.
That is exactly.
My people want to hear the word money, because most of them are eager. They want to be sure that what you are creating is viable, is good. Go on, sir.
Exactly. So now imagine what you can do. So what we created, that's the app which you call Bubbler, which is available on Android at the moment and will be very soon available on iOS. You can actually find out, I can give you the link later, is allows any user and any organization and any community to create their own private and public spaces, which is like groups and community pages, where they can control their engagement fully and monetize the engagement. So let me give you a bit more detail about that. That is, imagine a content creator from Africa or a creative artist, right? Instead of going and putting their videos on YouTube and trying to get a few thousand likes, right? Before you can actually monetize a few dollars, probably, right? Either you can create your own bubble, you can get your community to come on board, follow you, and you continuously engage. And what you can then do is basically you can start monetizing through multitude of ways through the bubble itself, where you can access advertisements inside your bubbles. You, as the owner of the bubble, will be able to completely monetize. You set the price of the advertisements, you decide what sort of advertisements you want, and you control the bubble. So we give the monetization power to you as a user. Right? So that is one. You can accept advertisements and make money out of your content and engagement. DrCI as a company do not have any control whatsoever in the pricing and the engagement. We only get monetization. We monetize through transaction fees. Right? So technically, at the moment, the owner basically gets 95% of the transaction fee, whereas 5% goes to DrCI. That is one. Second thing is, if you are a free, if you shoot beautiful videos or beautiful images, like freestyle images, you can just upload them on the mobile phone on our Bubbler platform inside your bubble, and you can basically sell it right there. Right? So that's a second monetization aspect. The third aspect is anyone can actually pay you, donate you money. If you're a creative artist, or if you run an NGO, you want to run a campaign, you just click a donate button, and everyone and the donation pops up, and anyone can start donating money to you and your campaigns and to your content.
That means you can sell your product for people, our viewers who have books, who have things they are doing. People can pay up there, and and then they still have the money down into their own account.
Exactly. So it's very simple. Just imagine we give you the power. I mean, let me give you a very small example. Say you are a small community in Africa, right, with 100 people, right? You start creating content and sharing on WhatsApp groups. Do you ever make money? No. But you come onto Bubbler and you create your own bubble. And with those 100 users can, and the local shops inside your community can start advertising, saying that today their offer is this, and they can pay you $1.
So you need to gather people into your bubble, for them to make things work. So viewers, I want you to look at the screen now. You will see the link of the bubble. For you, some of you who have your iPhone, who have your Android, to download the iOS version, as you said, is coming. Download that and follow the steps, and start bringing people to your bubble where you can see these things, in real time. So the link is there on the screen now for you to continue with this. I want you, Dr. Arjuna, to tell us something more about. You have told us now the advantages of this bubble, in terms of creating your own content, in terms of making your own money, gathering the same people and giving them exactly, and you have 95% of what you are, at least you know what is coming in and you know what you are going to do. So this is a very good one. I want you to tell us, because we're working with the 10 minutes with DrCI. So I want you to tell us some more philanthropic thing that you are doing. We have told some viewers there will be a kind of giveaway. So I want you to take note. Most of the viewers today, who will be the first 10 to get it. After this, we have it for free from what we are doing. Can you give us some philanthropic thing and giving back to communities that DrCI is currently doing?
Right. If you download the app and start engaging, we give you the Bubbler Pro account, which is basically a $20 per month account for free for lifetime for the first 100 users.
Okay.
Right. So if you come on board and you download the app and install it and create your own bubbles and start engaging, for the first 100 users, we will give you a lifetime free.
Viewers, first 100 people to go to this site now and create this, we have it for free. This is the time to rush. Go on, sir.
And if you miss it, don't worry. We will give you 6 months free of Bubbler Pro. And if you are engaging and you're bringing in a lot of users and you are beginning to monetize, we can also ensure that you will not be charged for the Bubbler Pro. So I would say for the next set of 1,000 odd users, if you come on board, you'll get the first 6 months free. And if you're starting to engage on a daily basis, we will discount the entire Bubbler Pro subscription free. So that literally means you can come in, just create your bubble, start engaging and start monetizing and go. That's it. So I think this is a great lifetime opportunity for all of you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Arjuna, for today. I want you to give one word for the viewers.
Me being a Sri Lankan Tamil, so I'm part of Sri Lanka and I'm a minority. I have been racially discriminated in Sri Lanka. I've been racially discriminated in India, where I was like a refugee. But when I came to the UK, I wasn't racially discriminated. UK has been a very fair society. And that would be a surprising statement for many. I've been here for 21 years. And what is the reason behind it? The reason behind it is because of empowerment, the education, right? I have a master's, I have a PhD, and I went into Cambridge and I led my own research group. I went into an old traditional university as an Asian, right? I created my own research group. We had about 15 people working for me and stuff, right? The point which I wanted to make is, like, if you want to really fight out and break out from the sentences such as racial inequality that's coming across the world, where you talk about Black Lives Matter and others, right? It is all about empowering yourself as a human, right?
Empowerment.
You educate yourself. Education is an extremely important aspect. You educate yourself, get a job, get yourself a job, get money, right? And you become your own owner. Start a business, right? Empower others, right? And it's like, that is how you do it. So the most important aspect is, rather than complaining about racial inequality and trying to figure out what to do, right? And running protests behind governments and stuff. Stop all that, right? What towards you? Be yourself, right? It's all about yourself. You empower yourself, you learn, you educate yourself, you get a job, start your business, empower others. You can change this, right? And I have personally felt that. And I think it's a very important message that I want to put it across to all of our African brothers and sisters.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Arjuna, for joining us today in 10 minutes with DrCI.
Thank
you very much for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we have heard from Dr. Arjuna today in this edition of 10 minutes with DrCI. I want to let you know, for most of you, like you have seen what he said, creativity, empowerment, believing in yourself, doing something with your hand. Stop the complaining. Stop saying nobody is going to help me. As a child of God, there is something that you can do for yourself. There's something that God has given inside you. I pray with you now. Father, I decree, as many that are listening to us, whatever they are doing, whatever they're passing through, that you grant them solution. Grant them an idea that will take them to the palace. Grant them a vision that they will follow up, that will explode their destiny for the best. I release favor upon them today. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Stay tuned next Saturday on another interesting episode of 10 Minutes with DrCI. Good night.
Let the blessings come from the north, the south, the east and the west. We have